Scientific Research and Research Process Part 1, prepared by Dr. Nazatushima Abdurrani, UniKL Business School. Learning Outcomes. Number 1. To know the 8 distinguished characteristics of a scientific research. Number 2. To differentiate between two different types of thought process, deduction and induction. Characteristic of a scientific research. Number 1. Purposive. Start with a definite aim for this research. Number 2. Rigor. Should be based on a good theoretical base and sound methodological design. Number 3. Testability can be measured or tested. Number 4. Replicability. Result of the research can be supported again and again when the same type of research is being repeated in other places with similar circumstances. Number 5. Accuracy. The research should be designed in such a manner that it ensures findings to be close to reality. Accuracy refers to how close the findings based on a sample are to reality. Number 6. Objectivity. Conclusion drawn for the study should be based on the facts delivered from the result of data analysis and not based on one's own subjective or emotional values. Number 7. Generalizability. The applicability of research in one organizational setting to other settings. The wider the applicability of the solutions generated by the research, the more useful the research is to others. Number 8. Parsimony. A simple approach in explaining the current problem and finding the solution to it is preferred to complex research frameworks that consider an unambiguous number of factors. Approaches to research. There are two approaches in research, which are deductive reasoning and inductive reasoning. First, I will explain on deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is an argument whose conclusion necessarily follows from the truth of the premises. It is valid if it is successful in providing the logical support for the conclusion. The conclusion is bound to be true if all its premises are true. For example, of valid deductive reasoning, premise 1, all politicians are liars. Premise number 2, Mr. ABC is a politician. Conclusion, Mr. ABC is a liar. That is from deductive reasoning. In deductive reasoning, it moves from general to specific, which is known as top-down approach. Begin with a theory relates to topic of interest. Number 2. Create hypothesis or assumption, which is specific and testable prediction on what we expect to happen in the study. Number 3. Collect observation to address the hypothesis. Number 4. Test the hypothesis with specific information or data resulting in confirmation or non-confirmation of the original theory. Approaches to research. Inductive reasoning. This is the second approach to research. Inductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning is an argument that is intended to provide probabilistic support for its conclusion, but not logically conclusive support its conclusion. Can support or it might not support conclusion. Inductive reasoning, if all premises are true, the conclusion is possibly true or highly likely to be true, but, or however, not necessarily true. Example of inductive reasoning. Mr. ABC, premise number 1, Mr. ABC has a poor performance record in the company. Premise number 2. Mr. ABC usually comes late to work. Premise number 3. Mr. ABC makes fewer calls than an average salesperson. Conclusion: Mr. ABC is lazy. Okay, now I will show you the example of inductive or bottom-up method and also deductive top-down method, the scientific method. So I will not explain on the inductive method further because that will not be covered in your research, but in your research you will use academic research, which is applying top-down method, the scientific method. By, of course, you need to identify the research problem or issues, and then from there you do a bit of literature review and formulate hypotheses and formulate research question to test hypothesis, and the third one is to carry out experiment or data collection. Now, how are you going to test hypothesis before your data collection? Of course, you need to come up with questionnaires and all that, and then confront outcome with hypothesis if you support the hypothesis, or you might reject the hypothesis. Okay, and depending on the data you collected, and then from there the last part will be to develop theory from your research. Okay, I think that's all for today. And if you have any question, you can feel free to email or WhatsApp anytime when you have free time, or you can come to my room during consultation hour. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye.